Dr. V. Ramasubramaniam, in Apollo Hospitals there in Tamil Nadu, and you're advising the government there. Tamil Nadu appeared to be on a decline, and now we are suddenly seeing an upswing again. Is this a fallout of the fact that there was an election period where people seem to lower their guard in large parts of Tamil Nadu? No masking, no social distancing. Is Tamil Nadu going to suffer because of what happened in that crucial period between the end of March and early April when elections were held there?
Hello Rajdeep. It is a very sad situation, and this current situation is probably due to several reasons. The fact that the government had relaxed several of the rules and interventions which they had in place during the most part of last year. By the end of last year, when we had gotten over the first wave, people, not only the government started relaxing the rules, the people also developed pandemic fatigue, and that also contributed. And then the elections came in. The entire process of the elections made things very different. People let loose their previous discipline and started, going out and partying and gathering and all that. The arrival of the new variants also contributed to this. So there have been a lot of factors, and throw in between the fact that vaccination drive came in, and with the arrival of vaccinations, the non-pharmacological interventions of distancing, masking, and sanitizing all fell by the wayside. So all these have contributed to the current state we are in, and unfortunately we are ourselves to blame for this.
Okay, I'm going to come to vaccinations in a moment, because that is a critical issue I want to ask all of you. But Anil Kumar Singhal, we are seeing both in Telangana and in Andhra, where you are, the doubling time now beginning to fall from late February. And by April end, it was clear that Andhra and was also coming into the crosshairs of COVID 2.0. Have the southern states lowered their guard in a way? Did you sort of, in this crucial period, March, April, perhaps not do enough to prepare for COVID 2.0?
Good evening, Rajdeep. I don't agree with the fact that AP didn't do enough to prepare for the COVID 2.0. What has happened in AP is not something which hasn't happened elsewhere in the country. All over the country, the cases have been rising. Obviously, after the first wave, the economy had to be set in motion. Economy was opened up. People were getting down to business as usual. Of course, there were events like local body elections in the state of Andhra Pradesh, which the state government tried its best to get it postponed, but somehow it didn't work out. So some of them might have also contributed to the situation that we are. However, in terms of preparedness, if you see in the first wave, all put together, we used 261 hospitals with only 37,000 beds all put together. We are today operating with 648 beds, much more than double the number of hospitals that we have empaneled for treatment of COVID. The number of ICU beds, for instance, as against 4,300 we used in the previous wave, we are currently using 6,800 ICU beds. Oxygen lines, availability of oxygen, the number of tankers used to transport oxygen, everything has been ramped up by the government. So I won't say that the state government is not prepared for handling the pandemic stage 2. Of course, the scale of operations are much higher. If you see, in fact, all over the country, on average, from 1 lakh cases per day, for the country as a whole, we have jumped to 4 lakh cases per day. That's a 4-time jump. But in AP, the moment we touched double the figure of the previous peak, the government was quick enough to decide on a curfew and imposing Section 144, which has been in operation in the state of AP since May 5th. And ever since that, we haven't seen a significant increase in the numbers of positive cases.
Right. In fact, one should say that the Jagan Reddy government, by and large, is seen to have been among the more proactive governments in the country when it has come to combating COVID 2.0. Dr. Ramasubramaniam, just one question on Chennai itself. Because like in Bengaluru, Chennai also now people are struggling for ICU beds. As of Sunday, only 20% of total COVID beds were vacant, and only 790 of these are ICU beds. Now, the worry, in fact, only 11 ICU beds and 245 oxygen beds which were available in the entire district by this morning. So is Chennai going to see what Bengaluru and Delhi have seen? A real crush for ICU beds, a real shortage of ICU beds, Dr. Ramasubramaniam? Is that a fear in Chennai as well?
No, I'm an eternal optimist. Yes, we are looking very, very grim right now. The scene looks grim. But I think what you're talking is a very, very, real-time scenario where things change every minute. So what happens in the morning may be entirely different from what happens in the evening. Preparations have been taken and the lockdown has been put in place since this morning. So I think the government is working towards analyzing the bed situation and ensuring that there is a single window system to ensure beds are available easily to the people. There are a lot of developments happening. So I hope in the next few days, things will be a little more, easy with regard to Chennai.
Right. Of course, we have a new government in Tamil Nadu under MK Stalin, and this is the big challenge facing that government.